It's time for football chat with Adam Russell, who, despite offering you the chance to win a free pony bet last week, didn't get one correct answer, not one correct answer. The quiz was a little bit tough last week, Adam, and you've reeled it in and you've gone a little bit easier this week.
Yeah, I had a few friends speak to me and tell me that they'd found it too hard. So it looks like we'll have to lower the barrier for entries a bit this week and make it a little bit easier for everyone.
What was the question again?
So we were asking which Premier League teams had finished top of the league after the opening game of the season and then gone on to win the Premier League. And there was two teams that have done it on three occasions. Chelsea did it in 2007-8, and Manchester United did it in 2006-7 and 92-93. So quite a long time ago. So whether you think Arsenal will follow suit this season, it'll be interesting to find out. My money would be on no, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, they have a big game coming up, which we'll talk about. That's on Monday night against Liverpool. But Liverpool were in action last week against Chelsea. We talked to Flynn Goward on Trader Chat earlier this week, and he did say that they Star Sports laid Liverpool quite a lot. And I did say before the game that it would tell us something about whether or not this was a two-horse race. Liverpool win in a very routine manner. Thiago comes in. He has more of the ball than the entire Chelsea team, despite being only on the pitch for a few minutes. And this all means Man City are 4-5 after they beat Wolves to win the league. Liverpool are 6-4 to win the league. And this means nobody else can win it, so we have a two-horse race after two games.
Well, it certainly looks that way. If there is a third contender, I'm yet to see a clear and obvious performance from them that sets them out as contenders. Obviously, there was a lot of hope for Chelsea before the season with their new signings. Obviously, they brought in a goalkeeper as well this week, which might help with some of the Kepa Arrizabalaga errors that we've been seeing in recent weeks. But yeah, Liverpool played well, as did Man City on Monday night. So I'd be surprised if there was a third horse coming to this race. And I think, it's just a matter of which one of those two ends up winning the league this year.
Could that third horse be Spurs? And there were ramifications for some of the markets after they battered Southampton, albeit like they looked crap in the first half.
It was so strange the first half, just the way it flipped on its head at half time. Southampton really dominated the first half and looked really dangerous every time they go forward. Danny Ings was a thorn in the side of the Spurs defenders, but come out in the second half and Southampton just had nothing. Spurs were just getting in behind at will. And you and I were talking earlier about Harry Kane being shoehorned as kind of just a goal scorer when I think
which he's not.
Can see that no, he's definitely not. I think the way he drops into the space and into the hole to pick up the ball is actually a really key part of the way Tottenham's set up. It allows people like Son and Dele Alli, when he plays, to make those dangerous runs in behind and try and attack the space in behind. And that's where Son's goals obviously came from. In terms of ramifications for the market, whereas we might have expected that Kane would be sort of the favourite in the top goal scorer market, it's actually the goal contributions market, so goals and assists, where Kane has seen a bit of movement. He started off the season at 7-1 to lead the goal contributions market, and he's now, after the weekend, he's moved into 5-1. So obviously 4 assists and a goal. I think he's worth keeping an eye on in the goal contribution market, and of course the leading goal scorer market as well. But I think if the Spurs are going to carry on playing the way they did second half, with Kane dropping in, receiving the ball and looking to spin someone in beyond, you add Gareth Bale to that attack and all of a sudden it's looking quite dangerous on paper. So I don't think Spurs are good enough to, as you say, and kind of get towards the top two. I'm not 100% sold on the defence yet as to whether they'll even get top four, but if they can get that front three, as we say, firing on all cylinders, then they've got a good chance of making the top four at least.
I remain to be convinced. I do like Salah for top scorer at 7-2. I think on the basis that he obviously started off the season very well. I don't think he's actually played that well for the last two seasons relative to what he can, how amazing he was 3 seasons ago, and he's finally had a break. I think that's key for him. I'd be all over that 7-2. But Liverpool play Arsenal on Monday. They're 40-85, 5-1 the Gunners, and then you have Leicester City at 15-2 to beat Man City. So I guess it's worrying that if you were to do a double on Liverpool and Man City, you're not even getting even money, despite the fact they're taking on two of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the state of affairs with the Premier League at the minute. Man City and Liverpool are clearly better than the level that they're playing at. I think the one that interests me most this weekend is probably Arsenal at 5-1. Not because I think they'll win, just because I think there's a crazy big price for a game between two big teams so early on in the season. And obviously Arsenal have won the last two meetings with Liverpool in all competitions. They obviously won the Community Shield not too long ago. So it's not out of the question that Arsenal come away with the win. I would say rightly so. Liverpool are favourites, particularly with the way they played against Chelsea. But we saw it against Leeds, and we were talking last week about when teams go man-to-man with Liverpool, that can cause them a few dangers at the back.
Let's bear in mind now, Chelsea had 10 men for most of the game. Let's not overreact to this. It was 0-0 at the time.
Yeah, and obviously then we had a big mistake from the keeper to make it 2-0 at kind of a pivotal point of the game. So it maybe wasn't as dominant as it looked, but I still think Liverpool controlled the game, particularly when Thiago came into things. They moved the ball around really nicely from side to side. They kept Chelsea moving, and they didn't really give them a chance to get back into the game. Similar to how Man City played against Wolves on Monday night, is once they got ahead, they didn't even really look to score. They just kept the ball, moved it from side to side, kept the opposition chasing, and it was enough to obviously give them the win. I still think Liverpool will win, but I'd be very tempted to take Arsenal on at 5-1 for sure.
Do you have some sort of a bet that you can build to make this Man City Leicester game a bit of value then? Because I don't like City at 3-10. I don't think Leicester are that bad.
Well, it's funny you asked, actually, Johnny. STARSPORTS have just launched their new Build-A-Bet tool, which...
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's almost as if this was planned or something, John.
Tell me about the Build-A-Bet tool.
Well, as it says on the tin, you can obviously compile a few selections together to build your own custom bet. Get yourself a nice little acca going for the weekend. I've picked one out for the Man City game just to start us off. I've gone with Man City to win, both teams to score, and Gabby Jesus to score first, which comes out at 9-1 with the Build-A-Bet tool. Another interesting market for that game is I was reading that 50% of the goals in this fixture of the last 10 games have come within the first 15 minutes. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some early goals, but also if we saw a few goals in the first half. So over 1.5 first half goals in the Man City Leicester game is 21-20 at the minute. I think that's decent value.
Yeah, before we wrap up, this week's quiz question is a little bit easier than last week's one, and we do want you to reply on Twitter to this posting of this video, because this is winnable. I actually think this is very winnable. And in these times of austerity and the certain world crash of the economy and people working from home, people out of work, people relying on the government subvention and so forth, you can win a free pony bet, Adam. I
mean, there's no such thing as a bad time to win a free pony bet. Well, so we've had to make it a bit easier this week. And the one thing I want to, in a normal pub quiz, there's no Googling allowed, but we don't take that rule. If you need to Google the answer, we'll accept that as well. So obviously, Son Heung-min, we were just talking about, scored 4 against Southampton at the weekend. He's actually the 6th Tottenham player to score 4 or more goals in a Premier League game. So for your chance to win a £25 free pony bet this week, I would like you to tell us who was the first Tottenham player to score 4 or more goals in a Premier League game.
First Tottenham player to score 4 more goals in Premier League games. Simple as that. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Johnny.
And thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll be back next week with more chat. And don't forget to send us in your answer to the question to win a free pony bet.